Guess we could start with the town administrator.
Well, before I go, how about we let our guests speak? Did you have something you want us to say?
Sure, I just have a couple of quick questions.
Okay.
About as a follow-up to the two articles from last week's, the last meeting. So, Kathy, last week you sent me, a draft general ledger for this current year, and we were still at like $8,000 something and $17 unspent. Is that number changed?
I don't have that in front of me. I'm sure it has.
Lower?
I'm sure it has, yeah. We have accounts payable. If you subtract all the accounts payable that Sarah sent that you reviewed and approved this month, this time, with, in addition to the salary or the payment, so I'm not sure what you, yes.
So I'm just, my only question is then, so let's say there's, I'm gonna guess, a couple of thousand left at the end? I don't know, but, so how, in terms of the $5,000 limit, or the maximum on the amount of the surplus that can be put into the library capital reserve fund, let's just say it's $6,000 is the surplus for the year. At the end of the year, up to 5,000 would go into this capital reserve fund, leaving 1,000 to be rolled over into the next budget as surplus, right? 6,000 minus 5,000, 1,000. I'm just using an example.
Yeah, we basically just picked a number saying.
Right, right. So, let's say so my only question is, so at some point between town meeting, are we gonna resolve that number so we know exactly how much surplus is coming into the library budget as revenue? We're gonna finally nail that number down. It'll be like $1,000 or $2,000.
I think after your last payments made this first 2 weeks of January, you'll know what your balance was for January 31st.
Mm-hmm.
By when? By the.
When the last of the invoices.
By the end of this month usually.
Okay.
So
All right.
For
And
example, all of the small pile is
Yep.
this year, and this is all last year's still. And that will happen again in the next AP.
Okay.
Disapprove.
So assuming it passes, then the surplus would be like 1,000 or 2,000 coming into the next year's budget. If it doesn't pass, the whole surplus would come in as revenue into this current budget. Say it's 6,000, the full 6. Is that true?
Yeah.
Just so
That's the way I
Yeah,
assume it's going to go.
that's the way I read it.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
But from what you're saying, it doesn't look like you'll have up to 5,000. That's what we put it up to.
Right. You're saying it might be lower than less than
It
5.
may be, I think it's probably gonna be a little higher than 5,000, actually.
We just picked a number basically.
Yeah, we just picked a number. It was a guess, a shot in the dark at that point,
Okay.
based on where we were.
All right. Just checking to see if that's the way you guys saw it.
So that excess goes into the library budget for next year?
Right, it'll be a surplus. You can roll it over into the next year to help fund
Into
the
the
budget.
library budget.
Yeah, to help fund it.
So if it does get, just in the argument, it does get rejected by the voters, the actual budget amount would change, sort of. Does that get resolved at town meeting day on the floor? Or do you just, is that just, it's either 1,000 or 6,000 in that example, say if it gets rejected.
Right, but I think your amount requested, unless that gets it rejected. Am I correct?
Right, you requested 100,000. If this is passed, there's maybe 1,000 that gets rolled over into
Yeah.
that. So we only have to collect 99 to
Okay,
fund your budget.
that's my,
If
that's my answer.
This, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is
No,
why
that's
I'm reading
Yeah.
it.
That's correct.
If this does not pass,
Yeah.
your 100,000 or 100 budget goes down to 94, so we have to collect 94 and this rolls into the,
Does that just get reconciled in the spring or the winter, or does the amount get adjusted at town meeting day?
well, we're not gonna set the tax rate until midsummer, right?
Usually that's when it happens,
Right.
the first part of August.
Okay.
Because one thing that was discussed the other night when we were trying to come up with this was also, we'd like to see some type of long-term thing you know, when that finally gets paid off, what is the plan, or what, some kind of plan, what's going to, how that money will be started to be used, or the interest to be used on the money.
I agree, I would too.
And as a board, that's what we all came to the conclusion when we had another meeting. We wanted to say, you know, we're doing this, we'll work with this, but we want to see some type of long-term thing coming up. Was it 2027?
Either way, I think once we get through budget and town meeting time, we all sit down and have that discussion and.
Yeah.
Right, but they need to have that discussion before we have it with
Right,
them.
get
So-
prep to come to that and.
Right, you know,
Yeah.
board members and stuff say, okay, what's this long-term, how are we gonna handle this long-term?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting that your debt service is, you know, not that far away, and
Right.
it'd be, you know, a really good time, a couple of years in advance to say, "Hey, here's the transition, this is what we see, you know, and,
I agree.
I think it would also be a healthy conversation to have along with your procedures, all of the
Yep.
the practices and policies and procedures that you have around your funding, so you can have that clear.
All right, so sometime in the spring then?
Yeah, get it after town meeting or something, if that works.
All right.
At least this way, people got time to think about what they're thinking about, you know, or
Yeah.
some way to formalize it, or come up with some, or get together and come up with some type of long-term thing.
We're kind of be between trustees very soon. Christina Bolduc is leaving
Well, she's been on a couple of years,
a
right?
couple of years now. She's already put her notice in. Her last month is March, I think.
Yeah.
Samantha Thomas has been out regularly because of health issues. Leaving Michelle Feiner, who's new, and Laura and me, the three of us, as the,
Now, who was the other lady you mentioned, this Michelle Feiner?
Michelle Feiner, she's new, about maybe 8 months now she's been on.
She replaced Laura Bellstrom?
Probably, trying to, yeah,
She was elected in March
yeah.
at town meeting,
She lives next to Mark and Kelly Stone.
Dutchy Callan's old house.
She lives up by them?
But we can plan something for the spring. But just so you know, we're a little short on trustees right now, so.
Do you have some interested, or mention, I mean, hopefully, some?
No, if you guys know of anybody, spread the word. We don't have any candidates right now.
Sorry,
Unless you.
I'm
Welcome
just
to public
thinking,
service,
it's
huh?
I was just looking around thinking, hoping somebody here might be interested. Where I
I
am.
assume we wouldn't hear, but.
I think I know a couple of people that might get their arms twisted.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We also have an election for new select board members at the next town meeting, so.
Okay. So this would probably be like an interim replacement or something for the
Okay.
library. I doubt it happened before town meeting.
Christina.
Okay.
Okay, well,
Thank you.
Nice to see
Thank you.
Stay warm.
Go put some wood in that stove.
Yeah.
No.
See ya.
it's a good terms up anyway, yeah.
So, yeah, I basically have been doing audit, year-end, quarter-end, month-end, taxes, lots of things that are new to me. So I haven't done enough research on the insurance question yet, and the new truck, which I
Say
plan
note on that insurance, I think we budgeted 48,000.
Yeah.
They bumped it up to 66,000 during the year,
Mhm.
and suggesting it might be 73.
I was reading that in a minute somewhere as well.
Yeah.
Which seems low.
That's the
That HUD,
HUD's
Yeah.
insurance for everything.
for all the
yeah, because there's
Pieces of
another one, I think we checked into once before, that Vermont League of City and Town one, you know, years ago, but we're running a check just to see if they're all looking at these numbers, or,
So that makes what's the big increase, or why is the big increase, what they say?
They're going up, they said they expect to be going up at about 10% each year for the next couple of years. So, and I think that's might be what they did this last year, without a heads up.
what was their rationale? Did they give anything?
Just more, yeah,
Either
inflation,
approve or disapprove.
bigger numbers.
that's what I wondered, or if more claims and then losing money and.
Well, I suppose it didn't help with Charlotte's town fire station burning, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
But again, I don't know if that's through them or that other one. So all we can do is check around, see if we can find some better rates with a reputable company.
Yeah, it was a lot, I mean, before, remember, we used to use, Morton, right? He wasn't through HUD, that's not HUD, right?
No,
I think it changed over to it, didn't it?
I think that did change. I think that's what happened.
I think that's what
Somebody
happened.
bought somebody else out. and-
I'm not
I'm
sure.
sure
but
there's
I
probably
think-
not a lot to choose from,
I
I would think.
would imagine it's
Would
limited.
would the co-op or anything like that, do anything like that?
I don't know.
It's just this, the VLCT, what,
Yeah.
Vermont League of City and Town, is the only,
Sounds like the only alternative you have at this time, or that's the impression we got from Jonathan. Cause I believe Jeffersonville and Cambridge goes through them,
That's what he said,
yeah.
and it was cheaper.
We haven't looked at the numbers yet
Jonathan said it was cheaper for them.
For them, but,
for them, but they have totally different, infrastructure than we do.
and when Amanda had checked it, there wasn't. It wasn't,
Right, that was a
so-
few years ago, there wasn't much difference at that
Right.
time, but,
So it's, you know,
They may not want that big increase.
huh?
I said they may not need that big increase.
Well, it's, it varies, I mean, just car insurances vary quite a bit sometimes, so. If we don't check, we won't know.
New truck, and I don't know, it all calculates in some way. But I think in general, even if we had some changes in our infrastructure, it's going to be more expensive. That's what they told me, so. And we do, just as an aside, in terms of insurance, there's actually a workers' comp premium that we pay for once a year, which is in the first AP warrant. You'll see it's 22. My eyes in this lighting is so awful. 22,856, I think, could be an 8. So you'll notice that is coming through. That's a one-time expense. So just in terms of what's happening, you'll notice that our road crew representation is not here. They've been working all the time, constantly, all night, and doing an amazing job. One of the things that's happened is that one of our folks has COVID and is out. He's out, and he will be back, I think, at the end of this week. One other person had a test today. I haven't heard what that, I think there's usually a 2-day turnaround on those. So it begs the question Mo asked. He said that last year the select board did talk a little bit about what to do in terms of time off for COVID, but it wasn't clear to them. So I pulled our left on my table. I did look at our personnel policy, and when you read it, it doesn't say anything about quarantining anywhere in there. It does say all of the things that you can take sick leave for, but it doesn't say anything about COVID in like particular. So I think that he wanted to know specifically if they're supposed to take their time off and which ones. Should it be sick pay? Should it be something else? He thought that maybe you were considering adding some time. So I wasn't sure.
I don't think we considered that.
Last year, we talked about, in the midst of everything going on, there were state payment programs and
Right.
whatnot, but I think at this point, it's sick leave.
Sick leave, okay. So I
And
guess,
it also depend on where they caught this COVID.
No,
I don't believe so.
no,
Yeah, but if you're on
Pretty hard to
vacation
know.
and you get it.
We don't know where they get it.
yeah, that's,
Pretty
Yeah.
impossible to tell.
Yeah, that's the part.
Yeah, but if you had it before you come back to work.
he has there's a guidance around that, so they can't come back to work until they are symptom-free. So, because you're still contagious if you have symptoms. Or 5 days, I think it's 12 days of quarantine.
Not now.
No.
Is it 5 days now?
5 days.
Test
Throw a
positive
mask
as long
on,
as
get
you
your
want
ass
to.
back to work.
Yeah, I did print off all of that and the charts on that and it's on the wall in the hallway at this point. So, and I did give that to Mo to share with.
So
his
is this
friends.
person under quarantine, or does this person have
He's-
COVID?
Quarantining because he has COVID.
So then it should go under his sick days, right?
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that we were clear on that. Okay, I will let Mo know that. And I think that one of the things that he was concerned about is what happens if they run out of sick days, but we haven't gotten to that point, and I don't think we
Let's
really need to
address
worry
that
about
when
it.
we get to
Yeah,
that point.
exactly. I did hear back from Mr. Mumley about the Zaware Road project. The initial assessment was completed for the archaeological piece of it. We were hung up on, I can't read this thing every single time. So they were recommending that we do an archaeological dig. This is still, now we definitely have the assessment completed, and they definitely need an archaeological phase 1 study to be conducted before the construction. And that can be done as soon as the ground thaws in the spring, and we've connected with UVM. So they're all ready to go. We don't know what we'll find. I did read the report that was provided, and it's pretty compelling, actually. It talks about Abenaki living spaces and where they specifically chose those spaces based on the rivers. And so we may run into something just based on where this bridge is. Maybe a little ancient spot. We'll see. But they did say that we can still go out to bid this month, as long as you want to still. And Tyler could come to the next meeting if you wanted to, so that you can talk about what that looks like.
Finalizing the bid.
Mm-hmm. So it's up to you if you want to put this out to bid.
I'd keep it going.
We
We
entertain
should
a
keep it
motion.
going. I thought we were going to try to do it the first part of January, not.
Yeah, I thought he was, the last meeting we talked with him, he was supposed to be getting all that stuff going.
Right,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be.
No matter what to do.
Right, it was supposed to be ready to say January, let's get some people, get some bids out. and-
Mhm.
Have it in by
Wasn't that your
February.
date, you recollect that?
Talked in January, yeah.
But I thought we indicated we want to be closer to the first part of January than the latter part, just to get on the stick.
Have it done by the end of January.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bid's back. They had their 2 weeks.
So I will connect with him tomorrow, make sure that he's.
Well, I
on
see you
board.
want to delay the date for the second meeting. Do you want to have a meeting beforehand?
No, the second meeting's on
Oh, this,
24th.
it's
No.
you don't
That's
need
a-
that.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
missed, we have
The
payroll
24th
on
is the
one
next
day,
meeting.
so
That's
he
okay.
can just take that off the agenda. But yeah, it would be the 24th.
Yeah, we wanna go forward.
Yeah.
So we don't need to meet again. I don't think anything's changed.
Yeah, no, nothing has changed, just the fact that we have this
He
archaeological.
indicated, yeah, I guess as I recall, is he thought he was gonna be able to work something out that would've,
You should have everything drafted with the, you can start as soon as Archaeological Dig is done.
Yeah. Yeah, he said the expected construction start date would still be late spring, summer, as long as they can finish their archaeological piece. So,
So I guess we
He's
want to tell
moving.
him to get his paperwork together and let's get up here and get some bids out.
Yeah.
yeah, and bring those to the next meeting. Okay.
Yeah, do you want to bring them to the next meeting or get them
no,
out?
I don't think he's gonna bring bids to the next
Yeah.
meeting.
No,
It'll
no.
be, there was,
He's gonna come finalize the bid documents. We gotta set the dates that we wanna go by and,
That's why I said, I'm thinking, do we want to have just a meeting if we just deal with that and get it done?
wait a minute, I thought we did all this.
I was gonna say,
We
at that
finally-
meeting,
I
we
thought when
did
we
all
left
that.
here, I thought it was all set to go.
Right, we set
Other
the
than
dates.
this-
Yeah, there's no
Except for the
finalizing
archaeological.
dates, there's no, it was like, go.
If you
Yeah.
look back, it must have been a month ago,
Yeah.
whenever
So,
he came, we
Yeah.
set all those dates.
when he did his
Must be
presentation.
somewhere in our minutes, right?
Yeah, it was a
Right.
motion.
So I'll check in with him tomorrow and make sure that we're all on the same on the same page.
Well, I
Well,
think he's
check-
already
check-
behind, if he hasn't
Yeah,
set
If
out
he
the
hasn't
bids.
given me
Just,
the,
just review the motion that was made.
okay, will do.
Yeah, because
And I think it was
believe he was
February.
all
I think-
set to head down the road and get his stuff going and get it mailed out.
That was just a question on archaeology
Yeah.
study and the wording that you're gonna put in that
Okay.
document.
Tyler Mumley update, Zaware Road culvert update. FEMA is ready for bid docs, waiting for Army Corps. Historical investigation, maybe FEMA eligible, suggest moving forward with bids, likely January 15th out to bid.
So that's 5 days from now.
So,
I think there's a motion too. I think there was a motion that summarized that whole conversation. But it's, either way,
Yeah,
He was supposed to come back early December. What date was that?
November 22nd?
Yeah, he was gonna come back the 2nd December or
think so.
something. and
I actually invited him to the last meeting and he wasn't able to come.
Either way, call him, tell him we're moving forward if that's,
Okay.
Yeah, we're
I can
looking for
do
that
that.
January 15th day to get bids going.
we want him to go out to bid sooner than later.
So I don't know if we want to go into executive session, but I did receive something kind of, I have to do some research on this, but it's something from the IRS regarding our excise tax from 2018 and some penalties that go along with that. So I did connect with Amanda about this morning. I got this morning. And she told me I should touch base with our auditors about it. But at this point, we do have a penalty that's significant and,
For what reason?
well, I wrote it down. I did all of the reading in this and it said that between the dates of January 1st, 2018 and 12/31/2018, we filed claim forms for refunds in the amount of $4,736. And these were paid on July 29th, 2019. And the IRS determined that this constitutes an excessive amount. And as a result, we have quite a large penalty.
So just on that 1 year?
Is the penalty actually goes through until today, this year. And it is on that $4,000, it's a $9,472
That sounds
penalty.
So they're just playing the game with that one, so I guess get after,
We're working on figuring out what we did and how we don't do it in the future, and also if there's anything that we
this
can
is
do
the
about
first
those
time you've
penalties.
received, this has been
This
the
is the
first time?
first time. This is the first time that I've received this. I haven't seen anything that
In the
suggests we've received anything like this before from them.
But you don't know what you did wrong yet.
I looked in the file. I pulled. There are 3 things, and there's a lot of. It's hard to decipher what's happening in those 3 documents. So, and I asked Amanda to come in, but she wasn't able to come in. So she asked me to talk to the auditors when they come in on Wednesday and Thursday.
but I had a situation, a personal situation with the IRS, and my tax person figured it out. I mean, so I think,
right, I think we had something going on, we got hold of Kevin, Manahan does our taxes, and he just said this, he got hold of somebody and they were wrong, you know? But they send a whole letter out with all sorts of things.
So this is something Amanda should look into, right?
Well, part of it is, the reason we started this was because I think it was the town of Swanton, we learned that towns got federal excise tax back. I believe that's how it started.
it was a town clerks association meeting,
Okay.
and I believe that you could go retroactive so many years,
Yeah,
but this is 2018, and we came on in 2008, so
right, that's why it seems odd.
it seems odd that it be, 10 years into this that you would have that. But I think you get the auditors involved, they know how to talk to IRS.
Yeah, so just a heads up that that's happening, and I'll let you know what they say. So, and is there anything that you wanted me to mention to them, or shall I call you as soon as I know, or can we just
No,
revisit
through
this
the
at the next
auditors,
meeting?
they'll be the ones that will probably help guide us through that.
Yeah.
So not to beat a dead horse, but you did a great job with the minutes, and I just, you know, just reading them again, what you just stated on the Mumley contract. So he's, the one thing you could add to the follow-up to say, hey, we wanna move forward, it says waiting for the Army Corps of Historical Investigation. So there was maybe FEMA eligible. So I think the conversation was, who's gonna pay for
Right,
that?
so I did actually talk to FEMA about that, and it is reimbursable under FEMA if it is required by this project.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so,
mean, he was worried about even the digging, we told him we'd pay for it. until-
right, to move
Yeah.
forward,
Yeah,
right.
to get it going, and we wanted those dates so we could keep going, so get it done.
But again, reimbursable, so we have to work it out before we get it back.
Not if we don't get that project done.
Yeah,
Be safe.
Yeah, that's chump change for,
Yeah.
you know, who pays that, but, okay.
So, you know, we really have been sort of bogged down with the, you know, my first audit, and that's really what I've been working on for the last 2 weeks. That and the normal everyday grind of accounts payable and making sure that everything is in line with payroll and, you know, really just juggling all of those at the same time. So, at some point, I would really like to have a follow-up conversation about the ARPA funds, maybe in the next meeting. I would like to have a meeting, public meeting if possible. I'd like to just propose that we have a public meeting because every time somebody comes in,
I think we need to have a meeting among ourselves,
Yeah,
with
right.
ARPA before we go
Yeah.
public.
I
and
agree,
figure out
I
what's-
totally agree. Just so that people understand and we all understand what we can use those funds
So at
with.
this point,
or-
it's a simple answer of,
Right.
you can look it up online. The select board hasn't, you know,
Right.
we're aware of it, we're going to address it, but you don't need to go into any
Yeah,
details
no,
or
I don't.
explanation with people. mean,
I
it's-
don't, I just mentioned that we haven't determined what we're gonna do with it. There are strict limitations to the funding and that we'll be connecting with the public at some point about how we're using it. But before
Let
we.
me also offer, you know, just to help you out a little bit with that, so, you know, kind of feeding on what Dave's previous comments. Invite those people to come to the meeting.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an informal setting,
Mhm.
and we're not hiding anything, we're prioritizing the budget, it shouldn't all be on you.
Yeah.
You could say, hey, come to the meeting, and we'll have a, you know, so don't feel like, you know, that we got step 1, step 2, step 3, and so.
Cause hell, we don't
So
even
at
know what
one
we can really use it
point-
for, or
Yeah.
can't use it for.
Well, it's pretty clear.
It
I mean,
is.
and it's a pretty tight little,
Yeah, there's 4 categories, I understand.
yeah, so, yeah.
It's also one of the things that we can use it for is fiber, laying fiber, but the Northwest Communications Union District is set to not allow the districts to have to pay any money for the fiber that they're gonna be laying out. That's one of their, the backbone of what they're trying to accomplish. So that we don't have to worry about, and that just kind of narrows it down even more to what we can use it for.
Yeah.
There is one option that says if there are any, if there's any direct loss in revenue for local nonprofits or businesses, and that's where we're getting kind of hung up, where people are saying, well, can we use this for wind farms? And can we use this for, you know, so, you know, that's where it comes to, that's where it's coming to.
So as your representative on Franklin County Regional Planning, I've been on it for 2 years.
Yeah.
This comes up every meeting
Yeah,
on the regional planning. There's really good guidance,
yeah,
and I'll forward it. I mean, you're getting
Yeah,
that same.
yeah, I know about it, I just,
Yeah.
I think that the public doesn't know about it, so
Well, I
maybe
think
if we just have a.
I'll dig through my notes and share it with you to share it to
Mhm.
the fellow board members, because it's pretty tight.
Yeah,
There's,
and it's on the Vermont League of
Yeah,
Cities
it's
and
right,
Towns, it's, I mean, we have emails that come through.
well, and if any of those people come, if you have a reference, say, hey, this is the
Mhm.
guidance. There's not a lot of.
Yeah,
Is it time to link it on the Facebook page to tell people, here's where
we
you
could
can
link
go
it
and
to the
look?
Facebook page,
Well,
or
one thing
Facebook on the.
One thing that in
website.
Franklin County they're doing, some towns are joining together and they're gonna collaborate on brainstorming and trying to put together projects, that's something we
Mhm.
could consider. But we'll have that discussion.
Yeah, and just let me know as a board when you would like to have that discussion. I don't wanna push it too soon or not push it. So just give me some guidance on when you wanna have a conversation.
First meeting in February.
Okay.
We'll get the budget kind of finalized next.
Okay, that sounds good. That was the top of my list. And I know that Linda has quite a few things that she wanted to talk about.
So before we jump to Linda, have
Yeah.
you, I know you've been busy, but have you started the ball at all in the common school?
I have. I've started. I actually looked on the Vermont League of Cities and Towns for MOU options. They have a few, but I do think that I'd just like to work with some colleagues of mine in Essex to talk to them. They have some really good memorandums about understanding that I would like to see if we can use.
What have you, like insurance coverage wise, that sort of thing? Have you?
I haven't done all of that. No.
No, but you gotta.
No, I've
you
got
gotta
it started. I've got
start.
it started.
You gotta get a letter into the insurance company or something somehow, because there's a lot of activity over there.
Okay.
Which is a good thing. The building's being used if we're gonna use it, but I'm just.
And that's the first place we're gonna visit tomorrow. Ron and I are meeting with
Right.
Efficiency Vermont. Anyone's welcome, 9 o'clock tomorrow.
Could you find a
Rose-
colder day?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a good
no,
thing.
it can't be tapping, so it's a good day. We're not tapping
I
tomorrow.
haven't tapped yet.
Yeah, so. we're-
Come in here and stand in front of these windows tomorrow.
Well, we
too.
will. I think
Yeah.
we're gonna start there, come here, go there.
Do you
Fire
have
department.
keys? Do you have keys? or
I don't
anything?
have any keys. I don't have.
I have keys to the common school. I have keys to this building. I've been in touch with the person who's renting, but she hasn't called me back.
But
from
we
the
have a
old-
key to
Old town clerk's office.
Will
she
you be
knows
here,
we're-
Linda, tomorrow?
She knows we're coming anyway.
Okay. Cause you're out of town, right? You get some.
No, we're not out of town. We're just the auditors are
Audit?
coming on
Okay.
Wednesday, so I have 2
Well,
reports.
so we'll be here at 9 o'clock. So you
Yeah,
give
I'll
us
be
keys and instructions in the fire department and the town garage.
Yep, Morris and the boys will get you in there.
Mhm.
Or I can
Okay.
give you a code and we'll get out.
Cool. So what'd you say, Linda? Where does it?
Stand right in front of that.
Oh, this window.
Oh, well, come in the other, in the clerk's office. I mean, the
Okay.
windows, these are awful windows.
They're historically correct though.
Yeah.
If I
Well,
Well-
worth the heat loss.
No, they're not
Window.
historically correct. If they were historically correct, you'd be able to scrape the ice off the inside.
Yeah, the inside.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
If I can get free, I'll come down. I'll get our thermal camera.
Oh, that'd be great.
It's scary on a cold day. You can see.
Yeah, I don't know what toys you're gonna have, but yeah, that'd be great.
They
If no
must have
pressure.
one of those with them, wouldn't they?
I don't know.
It seemed like.
From the fire department? Is that
I
one?
need,
Oh,
well, all of them
I
have.
wrote that already.
cool.
Liquor license for Stones, you either approve or disapprove.
We approved it for how many years? Make a motion to approve it.
No,
Doesn't
what
need
do
a
you-
motion.
It doesn't need a motion, it needs your
Is it signature?
signatures. It needs your signatures. And, Craig Lumbra is wondering about, New Street. Is it on your list to get resurfaced?
I think Morris talked about that.
I don't have a list of what we're resurfacing, but I do know the.
Well, Morse said they don't have a list yet, you don't have a list. I told Craig that I would, it's already gone down there,
Dave?
Gavin. Yeah, I got them earlier.
I think we'd actually talked about New Street. And
I thought that was one of the ones that was talked about.
Pretty
I think
drafty.
you said New Street and Mill Street, right?
That's what the two, when he was coming in as the two we thought we had money enough to do.
Yeah.
So I just, told Craig I'd mention it, so I mentioned it. Now, I have started doing articles, and, these are gonna be, we gotta start somewhere, because next meeting is when they're finalized, so this is what we got
Thank you.
so far. I haven't changed the wording on the top, because that's the other issue. I think the governor's slated to sign that you can go to Australian ballot one more year because of COVID. And so that's something we need to discuss also.
Will the school even let us in there?
Then I don't know, I couldn't get any answer from them. I filled out the paperwork to request it, but,
And the legislature is voting on that tomorrow.
no, the governor
The
signs,
governor
it
is
goes to
signing
the governor's desk tomorrow, I
Okay.
believe.
Okay.
Brian's looking it up.
No, I'm looking for a library trustee right now.
Oh,
Well, I moderated the firemen's meeting the other night, and we talked about it, whether we could have it over there, if we had it in person. Maybe we were amenable
Yes.
hosting it there or having it there. So
It's-
we have to get
it's-
some chairs together and some tables probably.
but then it's a 13, 14-hour day over there with people coming and going all day. So that's,
You know, I mean, if people, all depends if people want an in-person meeting. And if it is, that may be one of the few options we have.
right. But this is, the problem being is we don't have a lot of time to figure this stuff out. Because if you go to Australian ballot, the people that want their names on the ballot have to do a candidate form and get 1% of the checklist signatures, which is 15, so that's easy enough to do. But the deadline to get the consent of candidates' signatures in is on the 6th Monday before town meeting, which would be your next select board meeting. Yeah.
You make that any more confusing?
I'm saying that we don't have a lot of time, so,
So I guess we need to make, how much, I don't know how, I guess we all need to figure out how much we feel should be in person versus Australian ballot.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, depends how it could, some days it's worse for the state, some days it's not, and,
Yeah.
and they may shut stuff down, I mean,
Yeah, I'd
they
say
haven't talked about it yet, but.
conditions right now it probably warrants Australian ballot.
and that's the problem, we don't have a big timeline. Basically, 2 weeks from now, you're gonna finalize the warning. I'm gonna be back and forth fixing articles so you guys can sign it, because the next week, the town report goes to print, so there's not a lot of timeline to try to figure out how the numbers are going to be. That's the big issue right now.
Look at the case counts from the weekend.
They're just constantly going up.
I mean, the good news is I think this variant is a little,
I mean, why don't we just go Australian ballot for this year, because
Yeah,
that's.
I would.
we gotta wait though, I mean, the governor hasn't signed it yet, but
So, yeah, well, I did write down some language that you may want to use if you wanted to make a motion with consideration to that. So it would be to go to Australian ballot in 2022 if the Vermont State Legislature Bill S-172 passes, authorizing alternative procedures to the 2022 town meeting due to COVID-19.
So moved. I make the motion.
I'll second it.
Can I have that? You got it on paper?
Yeah, I do.
so, in that case, if you want to be select board, who else is up for election?
You need to, sorry, make you wreck your budget.
Everybody.
No, it's okay.
Tom?
I brought this for you.
Captain's the only one safe.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's the only one that's got immunity.
Yeah, quite a feat.
Do you have a torch?
Do we want to have to vote on that
Yeah.
motion?
Yeah, we need to vote on that to go,
You okay with that? Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't have a real problem with it, we gotta,
Just,
they'll say,
just to move
dick and
forward
run.
with it.
All those in favor of the motion?
Right?
It's, so, looking at,
I'm
the.
looking at Article 4. I
Well-
thought we determined at our last meeting, we were gonna have surplus funds put into the equipment fund.
And exactly, and that was why I have a highlight next to it, because I can just go phoom, right off with it, because Brian did make that motion.
Right, I thought we all agreed upon that at our last meetings.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So if we
15
did, I'd
minutes.
eliminate that one.
yep, and I just had that because it was from last year. Article 6, I know there's not a space between the E and the 6, I have fixed that. That is one of the new articles regarding the library. Just see if you're wording, if you're okay with the wording on that.
Thanks, Kathy.
So, on Article 1, are there names that comes to, I mean, I remember from town meeting, you know, like Constable and some of these, should we all think about, put our thinking caps on reaching out to people?
What I will do is, I will send an email, like Bridget is usually the moderator, letting her know, what we've decided that she'll, and I can email her forms to fill out.
Like Facebook page, say, anyone wants to put in a petition for select board, auditor, lister,
Yeah,
library
you can-
trustee, you
yeah.
know, first put them all.
Yeah, but the people that are already on the position's gonna let them know they have to
Right.
do that, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can put that on the, let it know.
Mine are 3 or 2.
What was that?
Mine are 3 or 2.
You're a 3.
You're a lifer. You got a tenure.
Yours is a 3.
So did someone like Tom or whatever, who's the other person? Of course, this year it's,
Me, I'm up.
you're up. And you guys are taking places, so it'll be, so everyone's gotta get a petition, is that what you're saying?
They have to
With
get, they
1% of
got,
the,
which is 15 people,
yeah.
which basically all he has to do is go home and then go to the Yates house and he's got it.
He'll tell you that, Ryan, but I'd be getting other signatures too.
I was thinking about passing it around right now, but I better
I was gonna say, we all saw
I better check at home first.
I'm gonna say, I could get 6 here, maybe.
Right? All he has to do is have a family dinner.
Yeah.
Um,
So we're on 7. Oh,
and then 7 is the other one.
Is it $5,000 of the, or up to $5,000 of surplus? It doesn't matter.
Right, the way I read that is if they had a surplus,
Yeah.
they could
Yeah, I just
put
wanna
no
make sure
more than
that's what it means.
$5,000 into this fund.
Up to, yeah.
I thought at the previous meeting, one of the last ones I was at, that we weren't gonna approve any of that.
Well, they came, and this is why we're hitting them up on this other one about getting a plan together for that final payment when that, I don't know what it is, but right now roughly 50-something thousand a year. I mean, seems like it ought to be more than that, but. And that's why we came to a compromise of, we didn't let them put an unlimited amount in this thing. It was basically a compromise, if I remember right. So that the thing could, and we brought up, you know, having a hard time selling ourselves with money in that fund.
Right? That's what I
Why are we
said.
double taxing ourselves, in my mind, to create another fund? So we came up with that one to, and again, next year we can reduce it, if you chose to. But I don't know that they'll have an $11,000 surplus.
And they
Part of, they claiming this year, the reason they had it was the change in librarians, or pay scale or something, I forget.
That's
Right, she got done, so we didn't pay a full-time person.
Can I sign my own?
Mm-hmm. You're a legal voter. Yeah. Article 10 was, remember doing our, budget meeting luncheon and the Franklin County Industrial Development Corporation, I found that we had been paying them without petitions, and Tom said make it a warning item,
Which one's that in?
in Article 10.
Yeah, we discussed that.
We discussed that, so that's new. So I don't know if you want me to put previous year 500, because if anybody looks back, they're gonna see that it wasn't an appropriation, so I was, you know,
Well, we had given them 500 last year from the
we'd
town.
given them 500 and they
For
haven't been
several.
doing petitions. But,
But last year you waived that, right, because of COVID?
No, last year,
Or was it the year before?
we waived the people that had put the ones in for 19. They didn't do one for 19 either.
I
So,
think this
I think
one
it's
was
gone.
always,
Oh, I was gonna say, who the hell are we signing petitions for here? You know, I'm just trying to figure that out.
sort of just put it in our, you know, they wrote us a letter and we just put it in
Right,
our
yeah,
budget.
yeah,
Cause
I remember
it
that.
benefits,
Yeah.
I don't think we've asked them for, you know, because it benefits the
Yeah.
It benefits the town.
but,
town or quite a bit, so.
but you
The town
said,
benefits are better than what we're paying out.
yeah.
Yep.
So do you want it as an article, or do you wanna just give them the $500 each year?
Well, we could put it down there and just,
Okay,
we just won't ask them for a petition, so. It's up to the people.
One of those slippery slopes.
yeah, everybody's gotta either have petitions or not have petitions. So,
And just pull it and put it in our regular budget.
okay, then pull
Some
the,
of the selectmen's, it has been.
okay,
Why
So
not?
we'll
just
get-
keep
I'm not opposed to that, cause it's not like this is something that
it? Right, we've done this for,
benefits everybody in town.
ever since I've been
or-
on the board, so it's
Yeah.
gotta be 20 years we've done it this
okay,
manner.
cause
So-
that's,
I got a phone call back from the Northwest Regional Planning Commission, and so I had called them because they requested that we put something on the ballot in a letter form, and then I got a call back from the executive director, and so I was telling her that we needed to get signatures, and she said that it has been going through every year, but maybe not as an article, so it might be a
so
similar.
did you look in the files?
Not as an
'Cause that's what
article.
you- No, it's not gonna be an article.
Yeah, so.
You have to look in the accounts payable to see if it's been paid
So
before.
she just called today, so I think that's a similar
So which
thing.
one are we going for?
One is Brian, one's for Tom.
Yeah, I know that, but are
Mine,
you going for 2 years, 1 year?
I don't know, I just want your signature.
And then you guys gotta figure out
We
if
just don't
you're
wanna
not
have the-
running
we don't
against
wanna
each
be on- We don't
other.
wanna have the same one, that's all.
He has to have a family conversation first.
Well, you guys, you gotta do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
Yeah,
also-
and.
mine is the one with Melissa on the top, so you just put a TA or Tom on the top of the page, and then we know who's is who.
Yeah, but, yeah, cause you guys have to decide the 3 and the 4-year one, 3 and the 2-year one, the remainders,
I
because
don't care, we just don't wanna do the same one.
that's what I'm saying, otherwise you guys would be running against each other on the ballot, and then you'll have an
Nobody's
empty
running
one.
against each other.
And then you'll have an empty one. So. And then, of course, the numbers for Article 3 and Article 5, we won't know until the next meeting. Anyway, I mean, because it's tax and non-tax revenues, it all depends on, those numbers come from, well, I got them from Jonathan last year, so.
You know, it's Article 2, is that something we have, I thought that's sort of established, we have to vote on that every year?
Well, it has, it's always been, shall the taxes be due on the first Friday in the month of November. Personally,
No, it used to be the 25th.
oh, years and years ago.
Right, but I'm
But the
saying.
last several years, so do you wanna get rid of Article 2? Cause,
my recommendation would be that you don't, just because I've seen people this year coming to the door and they just need to have this reminded over and over again. If it's on an article and on the website and everywhere, when is it due?
It more or less keeps it legally established.
and the other piece is, I can say it's voted on, and I actually, on my letter, town clerk letter, I say it's voted, the due date is voted at town meeting each day,
Yeah.
you know. But it gets it there because nobody wants to be accountable anymore.
These are two. You said that you have Melissa on the top, right?
yeah, so leave it on there, right? It's not a big deal.
Yeah,
I don't see any reason to
I think
change
it's the thing to just remind everybody.
Yeah. So,
Funds needed.
but, so the new articles look okay? I mean, I took pretty much the wording from the minutes that So 6 and 7,
The only thing on 7, I would say capital reserve fund instead of just, right at the very last.
put it, library capital reserve fund?
Yeah, because that's what you got. on
Right.
Article
Yeah.
6.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
And you
Yep.
did a spell check on that one, right? The Ferd,
The what?
isn't that what Tom said? On Article 1, the select person for a 2-year term.
Tuesday, March 1st.
You get just a spelling thing. You got Ferd instead of
Fifth,
4.
fifth line down, one select person. FYI.
Oh, thank you. Yep,
Article 6, shall, needs another L.
yep.
Tuesday, March 1st.
Tuesday, March 1st.
So is this where we should say, Article 2, taxes are gonna be paid in 2 installments?
You can pay them as many installments as you want. You can come in every day and give me money, but you're gonna get one tax bill at the end of August, and it's gonna be due the first Friday of November.
Right, but we should have that discussion about doing, I know it's a bitch, but
Excuse me.
it'd be nice to get 2 installments.
You can make as many installments as you want. We never deny you coming in and paying money.
She's walking around that.
No, I'm not. It's clear,
You gotta
you know,
decide.
it's,
How many, what you're.
there's a
If you
lot of
do installments,
logistics.
if you do installments, you almost
I
gotta
wanna
make
make
it
sure that-
mandatory. You gotta say,
Well, that's
okay.
what I'm saying.
And then is it delinquent if you miss, and then you got delinquent on, you know, it's,
No,
It's-
I'm kinda with you on this one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody can pay. We got
You better
people that
leave it
make
alone.
You
monthly
will accept
payments.
prepayments on taxes.
Right, but I'm saying, instead of having to go borrow $1 million in the middle of summer, if we had 2 payments, it'd spread it out a little bit.
One is 1 year.
You got 1 year left because
So
it
I
was,
could- I can make that.
I didn't know that. Well, I'm
No.
Is
gonna-
that wrong?
Just,
no,
to me.
it's,
Do we do that?
You're a
Yeah,
3
we
and a
borrow
2.
three
It's a 3 and a 2 because you
$500,000
guys
for 3 months,
replaced
probably.
Jean and
yeah.
Charlie.
So it's just the remainder, so it's
So
really,
who
a-
replaced who?
2%, somewhere on there.
What's that? So-
Jean got
I think maybe
replaced.
3,000.
yeah, it's a
When-
remainder though, because then, so that it goes back into
See, we used to
sync.
do that, if you, we did get 1 year.
So it's
when we
a,
used to have,
it's the
uh,
2 year
discount.
term, but you only
paid
have
early,
1
you
year
get
left on the
4%.
2 year
Wow.
That's the
term.
one I
It
was.
made sense.
Yeah, so you
Okay.
say 2.
Pay early, we go on.
So I put 2.
Then you
Yep.
get ones that are always
And
paying
Ron,
more taxes, they were claiming
you're
they
the
were paying
three.
more taxes because they were
On
paying the
3?
discount.
Yeah,
Because he replaced Jean. And
Right
then
now,
replaced
you're
Charlie.
If that's what you wanna continue to do.
Thank you.
When the
Hopefully you should
remainder
live
is,
that long.
how much, 2 for him?
On
yeah,
the remainder of the 3-year.
You're,
right,
yeah,
but it's
so
still
you're
a
2.
3 year term,
Oh, okay.
because you have to get them back staggered, so we don't have 4 every year.
Yeah.
Right, so you're being elected for 2 years.
Right. But on the paper, you gotta put the 3-year, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. It's that new math.
So this is pretty good. I mean, that
I went to school in
that you're that far ahead.
Oh, well, there you go.
Well, you know, I'm
Well, you know, it's
ahead
funny.
until I'm back.
All the
It's a
kids
lot
and
of
babies
hurry
down
up
to
and
Rice.
wait, you know?
And his math scores have actually gone up.
What else is on your list?
because
I
they're
think
using more
my
basic
list-
math. So Katie was, got a master's in math.
Done to me. Did you already sign that? No.
And she goes.
Does the cat-
It's done, I think.
Sit down, I have to.
Does the
think
Cat
over it.
Crusaders still
It
exist?
shouldn't be this complicated,
It was
but
an
he's
ace.
down there, he's actually, the kids picked up his math.
Linda,
Yes,
does the Cat Crusaders still exist?
yeah,
They do.
yeah, there's,
I want to make sure they asked for it. It wasn't just,
Right.
that's what.
Oh,
we did
no,
last
they
year.
Now,
still
do they give
exist.
Do they give a report on what cats they rescued or?
they've done a lot
You care?
at Magnan's, they did
Yeah.
a lot at the Yates Farm, yeah.
Yeah, that orange cat still walks through my yard every night.
Hey, he comes over to ours too. His big orange cat.
It might be the
He's
same
lucky,
orange
he
cat.
looks like a
all the
coon
way-
in the dark. He's lucky I'm a bad shot.
So, you know, you have enough issues with trees down at your end of the road, so.
So this is a good question. Do all of these individuals or agencies need to have a report submitted for the report, the town report?
We have them. I mean, we don't have something for the Cat Crusaders, but most of these we
But I bet if
have.
you ask the Crusaders.
Yeah, we could.
It wouldn't be the worst idea, so somebody gets like, what the hell, we wasted $500 on cats for?
Yeah, we
But
could.
while we're
Especially if they're a
at it,
dog person.
Mhm.
You know?
what sorts of things do you want in your select board letter? Because I'm gonna have to do that.
Well, I'll just say that, well, this one I think should be kind of explained in there. under that provision. It's not us per se, people voted to get the $500, what the hell did it buy? You know, just so that we can
Yeah.
prove that they amount to something, that somebody isn't just taking $500, say, yeah, I'm going out and trying to catch some feral cats.
Yeah.
What do you want in your select board letter? The
Oh.
letter to the select board, or letter to the
The town
townspeople
from the select
from the
board.
select board? I gotta
That
write
I think
that
you want to
bullshit.
thank
Which
So you
is
dropped
due.
that?
Jane
Huh?
You
and,
dropped that?
Why?
Charlie.
Is that-
Oh,
Is
yeah,
that what you-
we definitely want to thank Gene and Charlie Lesso.
Yeah,
And guys, these candidate forms and your petitions need to come back, the next meeting on the 24th. And I'll need the select board message on the 20, you know.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
asking. I'm glad you're here, cause I wouldn't remember. I
Yeah.
would've had to make it up.
Well,
like
you
I usually
can,
do.
you can make it up and then have them edit it on the 24th and then send it to me on the 24th.
What else do you want besides thanks to Jean and Charlie?
We should talk about our new administrator. Are you gonna register?
I have, yeah, I do a
Okay.
report. I noticed 2 years ago there was a treasurer's report in there, but there wasn't one last year.
What do you mean by a treasurer's report?
Yeah, so there was a treasurer's report which talked about your assets, the bank accounts, how much money was going toward different things. Just an overview discussion it was a little bit more it was
It was
comprehensive.
Probably compiled with the auditors.
I don't think so. I think that she did her own treasurer report, but she was the treasurer and doing administrative work at the same time, so I'm not sure.
What else besides welcome Kathy, thanks to Jean and Charlie?
And Jonathan?
Yeah, Jonathan for
Jonathan.
his time and his assistance helping us through.
Yeah. Always a road crew, thank you.
Yeah.
Always, yeah.
Is there any major projects we get done
Gene
this year?
and Chuck, or thanks to,
Yeah, I got that.
oh, okay.
What was the biggest thing we got done this
Do you
year?
want to say?
ARPA, we probably should
Yeah.
Gonna be
put, do a paragraph on the ARPA.
To be continued.
Yeah,
I
would you say-
wouldn't draw any more attention to that than we need to at this point.
Especially since you don't have a clue what you're gonna do.
It'll be March though, so it's
Maybe
not.
just
But I gotta write it next week.
Yeah,
some,
let's say we're beginning to look into it, because the letter won't come out until March, so that'll be, following the select board
Oh my
meeting.
gosh.
Tell Tommy get hold of
look
some
at that.
No, I,
So like you
I
have
have some for
heard
my
that all the
husband.
towns are gonna get a boatload of cash and we're gonna figure out what to do with it?
Well, really, what are we talking?
I'll
$500,000?
I'll email,
4:30.
430? So I mean, you think how fast that'll go,
Do
no
you-
matter what we do.
want to say something to the folks that passed this
No, I
year?
never do.
No,
No, cause what if you miss one?
or
Just cause it died somewhere else.
or on the flip side, do you say anything about the steadfast nature of Fairfield in dealing with this?
If you
crisis?
mention COVID in that letter, I won't run it.
Yeah,
I'm sick of
no
hearing about
COVID,
COVID.
No.
no COVID mentions.
Say thank you, bring a nice draft, and I'm sure it'll be great. And
What else? These are just three
One of the
thank
big
you,
things
four,
that we have.
5 thank yous. You want more than that. You want it's your opportunity to toot your horn.
Well, we should toot the recreation committee. It was kind of nice with all the lights and stuff they got, and the fire department, the lights they had around town, cheering the whole mess
Let's
up.
do the rec committee for they're got stuff going on in the community center and engaging with the town.
Right.
Mhm, and the library.
And that's how we're making use of the old school.
the town clerks deserves.
Yes.
I would second
Or,
that.
or don't.
Don't mention that. They'll
Then
come and
that
want,
is
they'll start
awesome.
wanting to come,
Oh,
and then they'll want pieces of it. There won't be enough
and
for
there won't
us.
be any
Don't want the
leftovers
fire
to bring in.
Yeah.
Has there ever been not enough?
No, I'm just saying,
Well, there is now that Chuck's gone.
the rec, the community center, the groups in town that are, I don't know.
reestablished themselves. Yeah, I
The
mean,
community center's doing a
Thank
lot.
you.
I mean, I think the rec
See you,
committee is,
Linda.
thank you,
Bye,
Linda.
Linda.
The rec
Thank
committee
you.
is really getting a lot of stuff going now, right? I mean,
Yeah, there's a lot of
We
stuff
should
going on.
mention something about the cemetery effort, the people that came,
Well, I guess you could say that, how the town,
thanks for,
for what they've done and how we're trying to get the town is involved, legally involved, to help maintain these cemeteries and keep them open.
Yeah.
thanks
In
for,
fashion that's
thank you to
acceptable.
our volunteers,
Yeah,
trying to keep,
and always looking volunteers with people just to help fix those stones,
yeah.
you know?
So the community center has a lot of volunteers who are helping with food distribution, because they have increased food need, like people are just needing more food. A lot more hunger, food instability. I don't know if you want to say anything about that.
What else?
Usually we've had some big projects we get done in a year, but I'm trying to think this year.
We got the Jewel Road coming up.
Well, right, we're in the
Come back,
process
we'll
of,
say thank you about
major-
that the year after.
The kitchen to cover that.
Huh?
Okay.
I think it would be
Do you
good
have a doggy
to, you know,
bag for
say,
me?
looking forward, this is, you know, this is a,
this is one of our major projects next year, is this Jewel Road, culvert.
Jewel Road, North
And then
Road.
they'll find,
Yes, the North Road too, if
they'll
we get that
find
grant.
a ancient
Yeah.
burial site and it won't get done.
Maybe say something about, maybe not specifically the roads, but the fact that upcoming year is exciting with major
Some
changes
road
to
infrastructure.
road infrastructure efforts.
Yeah.
Do you want to say anything about the new truck? Is that 2021?
Just another truck.
Just another truck and another hundred and however
15,
many
16,000.
oh, I
thousand.
think we should, I think
I
we
mean,
should.
I think it's a
Okay,
pretty.
well,
We're
I guess
talking-
we can mention the fact that we are staying on a truck rotation schedule,
Mhm.
because that's something we've been pushing for the last, what, 7 years, Thomas? Maybe
It's
longer.
important.
Yeah.
I tell you, the wisdom of the board's decision, I was in the Sugarwoods today and I heard someone whose wife works at Kenworth saying, you can't buy a new truck. Kenworth, they don't even have any trucks. So they're selling used trucks, and
Yeah,
so for the town to get a new
Wow.
truck,
get started, get on
Get
board for
started.
it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, especially at the cost of
Have we
maintaining the trucks.
actually let them know that
Yeah, Mo was
We're good
letting
to
me know
go?
that next morning.
he did?
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay, I just want to be sure.
I never did get over to Mo, to the town, 1 or 4 times, every time they were out. And we had to stay on their cover for a while, because some of Katie's kids tested positive, and then had to do this. They didn't test positive, but the
The whole hockey team,
Yeah,
Oh,
so,
wow.
so,
both the boys and girls hockey.
I'll see JD's on the
Basketball
race
team.
one, so,
The basketball
They're
team,
everywhere.
at Rice, it was both hockey teams.
yeah.
But BFA's basketball.
BFA's basketball teams, BFA's hockey
Hockey
teams.
teams, girls and boys.
On an average of 2 kids a week positive.
Yeah.
Liam's last week, it was 9 out of the whole team, you know,
Yeah.
big percentage of the whole team had it.
It's like Ellie's crew in Rhode Island. Christmas Eve, Mike come back, he's a basketball coach and teaches at the high school. They were going to his parents and he was sniffling. Ellen said, well, we got one of these, you're gonna have to take him. You know, his dad and his mom, close to 80. Of course, he tested positive, so they all overcome flying, you know, kids planning on Christmas, that turned into quite a show down there for them, but they had deal with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank God the kids get vaccinated, because the youngest one, she has asthma.
That goes to Dave and to Ron.
My baby can't get vaccinated yet.
I think
He's
Dave,
only
Too
9
young.
months
Dave
old.
hasn't
Yeah.
looked at that one.
Maybe I didn't want to sign it.
Oh, maybe
want
he didn't
any
want
of
to sign
those.
it.
Little buggers to give me COVID to take off to him.
I meant to mention before Linda left, Seth Hungerford called me from the Sheldon Selectboard. They're in a position where they're ready to hire a lister. They're not getting enough candidates.
Mm.
And they're wondering if we were interested in sharing one or having a
Oh,
discussion.
they were gonna
on it.
hire, an appraiser, as it were, or?
Yeah, something instead of
Yeah,
having.
well, I brought that up a little while ago, and Linda
Yeah.
wanted to discuss it, and then we got into other stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of dropped the
That's-
ball on it.
I know Linda really wants it
Yeah.
because she's having a tremendous amount of trouble getting
Regardless of what she
anything done.
wants, we're
Yeah.
having the appraisal done. It's time. I told Seth we're kind of a year behind where they are. Sounds like they know they're ready to do it, and we're
Well, yeah, but they aren't doing an appraisal though, are they?
no.
No, I mean,
but-
well, actually, we're ahead on that one, and all this change.
yes, yeah, but they don't have anybody.
They have
sounds
no
like
one
they don't have anybody
Yeah.
elected or assigned, whatever. So they're ready to have a discussion about it, see if it's something
So we
we're
are.
interested in.
It seemed likely between the two towns, it would make more sense.
It's a more complicated job than I think most people have, layman people have experience for. So having
Well, they
somebody
keep
actually
changing all
apply.
the regulations and.
Yeah,
Right, I know like Fairfax, they have Pat McDowell, I think she's there 3 days a week. They still have listers per se, but she's there 3 days a week, updating stuff all the time, keeps an eye on the whole thing, cause they got a lot more properties. It might be like joining Sheldon and Fairfield together as far as number of properties.
yeah, and the reality is that that's sort of the role that Linda's taking on a regular basis too. She's on top of a lot of the lister work,
Yeah,
Um,
well, she's paid for
yeah.
it. But it's good enough that we got someone here, but it's obviously gonna take someone else.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to have somebody in the office when people come in and get an answer. I know nothing ticks people
Absolutely.
off more than that.
So is it safe to tell Sheldon that we're interested in having a conversation at least? And-
I would
I
go
would
along
think
with
so.
it. I mean, I don't have the.
And I would think it's something like that would be, you know, a little bit more, they would be more,
Yeah,
up to date on the regulations and stuff. You know, plus.
yeah, if you hire
it'd
somebody
be
that's
a-
out there,
Then you can't say it'd be somebody, it'd be a neutral party, sort of like, it's not, well, you favor this guy and you don't,
Yep.
you
Yeah.
didn't favor this one.
It's based on experience. Does that change the Article 1? Would
Maybe
that-
somewhere in the budget,
Would that be
things get
somewhere?
moved around.
Okay.
If it were to come to fruition. But I don't think, you know, you figure you're trying to raise, between the school and the town, what, $3 million, over 3? So you kinda have to have something, proper way of addressing, taxing people fairly. And now it's kind of a helter-skelter deal.
And I think with this appraisal, there's gonna be a lot of uproars and everything.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, if you had somebody like that could explain some of this, I guess part of that's part of their job too, but,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, I think we should. I think it's,
Okay, where are we at in the agenda here? We do the, but we,
So we just finished,
We're getting near dessert.
yeah. Linda's report just finished.
okay.
So
So,
the article, just,
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes, just to keep this thing.
I will second that.
any errors, omissions, or comments on the minutes?
None that I detected.
All those in favor of the minutes?
aye.
Can I have the, yes,
I knew you were gonna ask.
I'm holding till the end, so.
You
I don't have
always
time to
ask
look
first,
at it.
though.
Melissa,
So,
do you have anything?
I do, I have one thing. While Linda was reviewing the stuff for the town book, she said, "Oh, Melissa, your planning and zoning board officer appointments are not updated." So 4 people are up, 2 last year, 2 this year. Everyone's interested in staying, so you just have to approve the appointment of them. Harry Goldhagen, a 3-year term starting last year. Aaron Forbes, a 2-year starting last year. Me, a 3-year starting this year. And Peter Burns, a 2-year starting this year.
I make a motion, members of that board succeed themselves. Succeed themselves, ain't right?
Thank
Yeah.
you,
I'll second that.
thank you.
Any discussion or comments? All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Thank you. That's all I have, now that you gave me a town report stuff.
So AP is broken up into this fiscal year and last fiscal year. The warrants for last fiscal year are all of the bills that occurred in 2021. And we're really pretty small on the 2022 at this point. And payroll, Jonathan's paycheck had retirement taken out of it, which is an error. It automatically did that. So I talked to Nemrick today, and we're gonna correct that in the next payroll. So you'll see, I think it's $100 that he's due at this point. So you'll see that in the next payroll.
Quick question for you, Kathy, I don't know
Sure.
if it's yours or not, but what is tax map maintenance? comes
That has to do with the whole not lister, but the whole reassessment, reappraisal process.
Right, with that, you had tax maps done a few years ago.
Right. I just
And it's a constant updatable
It's really expensive.
yeah, I was gonna say, this comes up
yearly.
way, it's more than yearly, isn't
It's
it?
monthly.
Yeah.
It's a huge
This
monthly
is,
charge.
this is not.
I thought that was a yearly charge on that town when we
No,
did that.
it's,
I can,
Monthly.
We had them done, and
It's
then there was a
every
fee to maintain them.
if that's your fee to maintain them, we need to stop.
Yeah,
Because
that's
I
it.
can
How
do
much is it a month?
26.75.
Per month?
it's
I
been
don't-
happening since I've been here.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that deep.
Hmm.
Can you make a note and look
Sure.
into that and see, because
Right, because what did it cost us to get all that done that time?
That's a lot of money.
I'm thinking 40,000, wasn't it, Tom? In that range. I'm not saying exactly.
to set them up,
So set 'em
absolutely,
up.
and there's gotta be some maintenance to stay on
Right.
top, but
But I didn't think, like you said, I thought it was just a
It was,
yearly.
I thought, but it'd be nice if you could go back. I mean, I can't remember how long ago that was done. Maybe 10 years
Well,
ago.
maybe that's a yearly charge as opposed to monthly, but
It's
no,
monthly.
it's.
why don't we
it's-
just, why don't we check it out?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
I don't even know if
It's a
it's
good
monthly or
year.
quarterly, but I know
It's-
this comes up on this.
I think it's
payroll.
monthly,
Yeah,
and
I don't
I'm
think-
pretty sure
often,
that, so yeah, I can absolutely look into that, and it would be a good time to do it, because we're in the beginning of the new
Yep, so we
year.
keep track of what we're spending now.
Yeah.
But that, I don't recall that it was that much money, because I don't believe we ever would have agreed to it. You know, because God, it was, what did you say, 2,600?
26.75.
So it'd be closer to 30 for a year.
It's like a mortgage for a big house.
Which is just one of those that slides in there every
Yeah,
year.
unless it's something, some new ones they're doing every year or something, but monthly, but I can't believe there's that
Yeah,
many
but
new ones.
it's,
You know, I think that it somehow reconciles or communicates with the state mapping system, so I'm not sure. I'll look into what it covers.
looking to see what
And
we're getting for
what
like
is-
$3,000 a
At
month.
that price,
Yeah.
we let it go for several years and get it remapped again,
Right,
you know?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't anywhere near that kind of money when we did that. And the reason we did it was to try to actually match up the town acreage taxable with, and I think part of it was because of that school law, where they get their money no matter what. Same reason we did away with the discount, because then you were making up, if they got 2 million something,
Mhm.
then you had to put the discount part on top of that, because the state didn't allow for any discount on taxes paid.
How does that mapping, because Vermont has mapping too.
right.
Right.
So whatever we do has to be able to communicate to the state mapping. So they,
So what about
it's
the towns
sort of
that
like
are, what about the
pools.
towns that are not doing that, but they're still mapped?
They're just not complete. They're incomplete.
I would like to track more of that down, because
Yeah, I
Fairfield's
will.
one of the few towns, for a while, you couldn't find the tax map. It's not with all the rest of the state stuff.
Mhm.
No, if you looked at, if you go to Sheldon, it's not there.
Yeah,
Not-
it's
not
it's
that
in
one.
it's
But
in,
they're in the Vermont one.
And the parcel's all broken down in the Vermont one?
Yeah.
Huh, interesting. I'll
On
definitely
my
look
computer, I'd
into
show
it.
you, because I looked at it quite often. It's pretty
Well,
interesting to,
That's
to
one
know
of the
where
things.
Tom owns all this land, and know where it is, but.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things that we're paying that money. We have it up to date. It should be accessible off our website,
Mhm.
Yeah.
It
because
is.
it saves when Gavin wants to go buy a piece of land from Ron.
It is on it, though.
It is.
It is,
now?
Yeah,
I was
it
gonna
is.
say, cause that's the whole idea of having it,
Yeah.
people
It's
could.
No,
there's
it's
a
on
link on our website on the.
It's
I think
not-
it's
it's
on
not
Oh,
the-
yeah, oh, it's
correct.
really, yeah,
I think
I
it's
use it a
on the
lot.
page.
Okay,
Yeah.
It's really professional.
Maybe
Got a
we
lot of
should start
information.
charging a small fee for it.
But if you
But
look
just,
at the.
that's one of the things that saves.
I've never
the
looked at the
house
Vermont.
prices
It's the same
themselves.
thing. It's
Oh, it is?
the Same thing, yeah.
Well, maybe we put it on, do your
Yeah,
poke
I'll do
around,
some
but maybe we'd get a review and talk to the vendor and say,
Yeah.
what are we getting, what do we want?
What
Right.
is
How
the,
much are we willing to pay?
So on this, so now we're this.
their invoice is very very straightforward and not comprehensive in any way. So
Right.
it doesn't tell you what
Right.
the deliverables were every month and how that fee is it doesn't really clear. It's not clear.
Well, we should ask,
I will.
yeah, and you don't have to get it, I mean,
Does do they get information from Linda, has to send it to them?
Linda I'm not sure exactly how it works, but I do know that she provides information to them, and then I just really don't know the
If
back end
there's
of
something
things.
going on, it's not
I
an
don't
issue.
know the
just-
back end of
okay,
of
so
that
here we are,
process.
we're on the action required, is that what? Do we
I
decide
think
that is
it's
not
all-
an issue?
Yeah, no, not,
Okay,
not
so
an
then,
issue.
then the time off is not an, so
We
general
talked about
fund
that.
budget. Are we gonna,
So the general fund budget, I gave everybody a copy of. It's updated to the numbers that you provided last time. It's all rolled over into the new year at this point, so, you'll see that the way it's reported looks different. It's the first, budget status report. So you'll notice that we haven't actually used any of the money, but
But you have the
But-
totals, this,
except for some, was that, that's just all the, the totals are on the last page.
yeah, and so,
Want an end piece?
So
so
that-
the only thing for what we approved for the budget, the only thing that's outstanding, correct me if I'm wrong, is the getting response on the insurance, getting
The insurance, yeah.
a quote on the insurance, and I don't think we had any other,
That seemed to be the one thing we're trying to figure out.
so
Do we
we
include
need,
that number in the budget we have, so if we don't switch around or anything? so we're not
that makes sense.
To keep enough in there to cover it.
Yeah, just in case.
But that's, the only other part was when we finally figured out what we had for a balance, we had already appropriated to go into that equipment.
Mhm.
And that was somewhere in the minutes, of
Yeah.
whatever we've
Nice.
done, that's where it's going.
Yep.
But that insurance fund, I would say that's, no matter what you do, that'll take a while to convert, I bet.
Yeah.
Do we need a
it's-
motion to approve?
I think we need a motion to approve the budget, right, as
Yep.
presented.
As presented.
I'll second it.
Yeah, I'll make that motion to approve the budget as presented.
Do we know what our final increase was? What was your percent?
It was what was it?
4.5%.
4.5%.
We walked out
I
of
get
here.
less.
Is that what the
I get
numbers-
It's the same,
4.9,
yeah, it's exactly the same.
4.5 was the number I had in my head when we left here that evening, but.
I was just asking, just,
Yeah.
if I look
The
at
math
this
is the
and look at that, is that where we ended?
What was the number we were talking?
Has it changed from that?
I haven't changed anything except for what you
No,
told me
they're-
to
they're
get it
the
up to.
same.
Final numbers are the same.
final sum.
Okay.
Mhm.
Have you heard any increases in towns surrounding us, numbers, any of that?
Well, I haven't seen the messenger, I don't think, I haven't seen any budgets in the messenger, but I haven't
Right.
seen it lately either, so. I mean, they should be talking about, the towns and the city, and
Yeah, usually,
generally they have a whole page of it, I would think they'd be coming up pretty soon. Unless they're in this one, I hopefully pick up Tuesday, but.
I'll grab one of those.
I can find out towns right now if you want.
Please.
That's your portion.
that's what they treat me at home today. And Cindy, because,
Do you want me to ask and find out what town's budget increases?
yeah, it'd be interesting just to, I thought we did well to keep it where we did.
Yeah, I mean, so how you gonna just swallow that increase from the insurance, depending on how it goes?
On whatever prices we get from other ones. They may be in the
We
same range for all we know. We
What
just
did
don't know.
What did we put in for a number?
73,
73.
and it was 66 this year. And so that's,
So we're ballpark at least.
Right, at
Ho-
least-
Hopefully we shop around. And
we shall, it'd be nice if that
It
one
would be nice
declined.
if
That'd
it
give
was
us some
declined.
extra cash for gravel for roads or something.
So did you have a vote on the budget? Did you want to?
Yeah, everybody was in favor.
Yeah, everybody's in favor of it.
Okay.
We're a pretty agreeable bunch.
Especially with pie.
Yeah. Well, that does solve a lot of
Solves
problems.
problems.
4.5, you said, right?
That's what we were, the other night when we left, I
Yeah.
thought that was the range
But
we
why do
calculated.
I have 4.9 right now?
I don't know.
I could be wrong. but-
I don't know why. I heard 3 people come up with 4.5. I did not calculate it myself.
You just didn't make that tail on, you you closed at 5 instead of leaving it open.
Do you have money already or?
Yeah. So is there anything else we need to discuss?
I don't have anything else.
Oh, make a motion, we accept the warrants.
If we don't, Gavin will take it all home.
Yeah.
Second.
Good morning, Mark, that's some.
We have,
Did we discuss those?
Payroll
We are all in
still-
favor of the warrants, just so we don't forget to get that.
From what I've seen so far. So action request, do we want to go into executive session just to discuss that some, or,
Which one is that now?
well, about the COVID and the time off and,
Thought we kind of settled on they were using sick time,
Yeah,
because we don't have any government, like Dave said, last year we talked about.
Yeah,
when they were
I think we're gonna
having-
go with what we have, and then if we find any individuals that exceed their sick allotment, we'll
yeah, we'll revisit at that point.
revisit.
Yeah.
That make sense?
It's a pretty generous amount of, I feel that it's a pretty generous amount of sick time, so,
I think things are backing off. It's a 5-day quarantine now.
Mhm.
It's
I think you guys. Yeah, so, Tom, this is payroll from last week.
I don't know how well Larry can maneuver the snowplow truck, but he really knows how to run that horn.
well, he's done well.
I've heard good reviews from a couple of people.
Well, I've been more surprised to not have heard something, but
Mo mentioned that the new truck, the 2021, had a piece that malfunctioned and needed to be fixed, so that's a heads up to you. It's still under warranty, no problem, but it just a heads up that
Don't break anything when it's parked
it
in the
kind of broke
garage.
down.
Yeah, they use it Sunday,
Yeah, they got it fixed,
Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
because I know,
It's payroll.
Larry did, James's group, and James is doing Jake's group. Yeah.
okay.
Oh, Tom, needs your signature.
Yeah,
That's who's up, you know?
I see, yeah, because that new one was going up Bridge Street, right? Not Bridge Street, but Mill Street, when they in Fairfield, I thought Jake did up by Dennis's and all that.
That's James's group.
That's James. That's the one I saw Larry on that day. He was beeping his horn to me.
I brought them donuts. The road crew, they're just working so hard, and I figured, they deserve a
Hard to
little
go wrong
something.
with donuts.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with donuts, right?
Did you talk to James?
No, I never did. I said I went over 4 times and then we kind of had to stay right to home for a bit.
Have you heard anything, anybody?
He's doing okay.
I talked to him the other day. He apparently heard that he got a raise and he was very, very thankful. I didn't delve into the conversation.
Like I said, I stopped 3 or 4 times. They were out, and then we kind of homebound for a few days there.
Yeah. He's not he's not well.
Did JD get sick?
Nah, a little
Actually,
bit
Katie
Christmas
told me
Eve, and
he was a
then
little sick.
of course Gracie, she was determined she wasn't gonna have anything. She kept 8 feet between the brother and her and the whole 9 yards. And she helped. Actually, she helped in the Sugarwoods a couple of days. She did a good job. Of course, she wanted to tell the brother she had the money, and they didn't, so that worked out for her. But.
COVID is
And she tested positive, then tested negative right off. So those quick tests there, I guess they can go either way.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think you can get a false positive on that.
Yeah.
I think we should look for 2 new volunteers to serve on regional planning.
Mm.
Well, you find them, we'll do it.
Okay. I'm gonna
If you're
just
done
share
with
that.
that.
I'm gonna share that with.
Yeah.
I
With
feel
the-
that you can wrangle some folks. You're under the table wrangling folks.
Well, I just want to let you know that
Good
because
thing.
the one person is on with me doesn't participate. And so let's think about that.
Okay.
Do you gain
So
a
let's see
lot of
here.
knowledge? Do you gain a lot of knowledge with that meening? Or are you were so you can put our...
Yeah, I'll tell you, the issue isn't, you know, when I think about going forward the town, like, the need for, food that you mentioned, there's a strong need for that, but it seems like regional planning's focused for the next year's racial equity.
Yeah.
And I think that's something we could think about as a board, because I think feeding people is really important. And the regional planning, it's, you know, it's, we had this big, long discussion last meeting on racial equity, and the state's racial equity diversity officer had a kind of a strong hour-long presentation. And, you know, it's my observation that the need, there's a lot of people that are hungry in our community. And, but I mean, we could talk about ARPA funds, and then maybe, you know, what are we gonna, you know, when you talk about a letter for the year, you know, that should raise questions. You know, this is what we did, but we could also think as a board, maybe link to the ARPA funds, what do we want to do? What are our priorities? You know,
I think some places are doing task forces on diversity, racial equity, and hunger. I mean, all of that. They bring together people to do a lay of the land of what's happening and what's needed, a gap analysis, and then they create a plan for the board to consider based on their research. It's just a strategy to figure out what do we need as a community based on this is the top of the agenda for the region. Yeah, I agree.
So I'm gonna change the subject for
Well, wait, just before you change the subject, do you want that in the letter? Some suggestion about, we want input about ARPA, do you want me to say something about that?
I guess we're gonna be talking
we
about
need
it.
to have a meeting and decide if we're gonna.
Right, I think we have to do
work as a
that on the
board.
I would like to, you'd read a draft, and I'd love to, you know, maybe share it with the board for
I mean,
edits.
that's gonna be, we should have that meeting done by then anyway, cause this isn't going out until town meeting day.
Right, but it's gonna be.
This
in
goes
No,
the-
but it goes to print after the next select board meeting, like I have to have this letter ready to go for the
Right, but
next-
I'm just saying, you know, if people are gonna come and talk to us about it, we should know what we're gonna do by then, time they get that information. It would, you
Oh,
know,
right,
if they
That's
want
right.
feedback from it, I'm just
right,
saying,
that's very true.
time they get that, we should have our meeting and
Should
have
be
a
done
little bit
already.
idea.
I suspect there's gonna be a lot more dreams and
Can-
needs
can
than
we-
money that's available.
The letter is kind of just a facade of something we put in the town book to
Yeah,
say
bullshit.
something. Say, the town has received ARPA funding. We're in the process of figuring out
What
how
we
it
can
be
do with
spent,
it.
what can be done with it.
But
Watch
what
for
Tom
more
said is true,
information.
by the time March comes around, you'll have really already a pretty good idea what you're gonna do with it.
No,
no?
because we could go like Brian said.
There's
We
more
could
funding.
have 3 quarterly meetings for the next 2 years
Okay.
on how to do it because we don't have to spend it until 2024.
AARPA or
AR,
ARPA. What's it stand for?
the American
Recovery.
Rescue Plan Act. And we do have another 100,000 coming. So we have 100,000. It was approved to give us another 100,000. So we have to figure out what we're going to do with these funds at some point.
So
And-
I have a job for you before we worry
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
Fix that time clock at the town garage. How hard is it for 7
Oh,
people that are across
we-
that all the time
you know
to
what?
not figure that out?
We did.
That
fix
drives
it.
me nuts.
I know. We fixed it within I think maybe a week of me being here. It's like, Mo, we have to do this. So he did.
Send it
And
back.
then it
We spent
just-
$1,000 on a
I
time
know,
clock,
it just-
so we don't have to fight with the time card and
Really.
So
argue
what,
with
it
them.
doesn't
just-
properly,
It doesn't. They don't update. Mo doesn't update it so that it changes by day.
It says October.
It says October.
well, it doesn't automatically change?
No,
No,
he has to put it into the next month,
Wow.
and he just never has. I don't think.
This feeds back into where we end up in some
Yeah,
petty little conversation.
Right.
yeah.
Send it back. Order one that is a time
Automatic.
clock should be pretty
Right, I
simple.
can't believe it was, I thought it was automatically just programmed.
Yeah.
to
So
go
what
ahead.
what I've been doing is what Jonathan was doing, which is to compare what they check in, check out to the timesheet to make sure it's accurate in terms of the dates.
So
But
this
it's
is
not
this
the-
is a 3-minute job for you,
Right, I know.
and
Well,
we've turned it into an hour job. You have bigger fish to fry than to make sure that.
well, the
you-
adding that doesn't go right. It really doesn't. Like sometimes they
This
do
is
it wrong. so-
archaic. Your
Well,
time is better spent on 10 other things. So
How old is that? How old
it
is
does
that
take a
machine?
long time. It's due.
we just spent $1,000 on it.
So we just got it of
Yeah.
this fall
We-
or something?
I
Within the
don't
last
know
year.
Within the last year?
Yeah.
Well, what-
I'm just shocked that it doesn't automatically.
Well, that's this. I'm gonna
I
go.
think
I might go
it
look
needs-
at it right now.
when. You know
'cause-
what? I think we need to just make sure that Mo was trained on it and
No.
that we know. No.
No, it's a time clock. Every clock in the world knows that it's October 21st, 22nd. Oh, it's now November. This
So
is.
it's not working correctly? I don't know.
Yeah, it just seems bizarre to me.
let's, next meeting, we'll ask
Yeah.
more about it.
I will have that fixed before next meeting. I
Thank
can't
you.
stand that.
I appreciate
That-
that. Thank
St.
you.
Albans Town, closer to 2%, but implementing a capital plan to pay for all of our public works and parks equipment and trucks
Yeah.
for 10 years. That'll raise 5%, taxes 5% more.
I love the way they did that. They segregated out.
He's a pretty smart cookie.
Yeah, they segregated that out. Yeah, you've got a 7% tax
The
increase this
issue
year
is
in your
that
budget.
He's a pretty smart
will come
cookie.
in.
And so they're doing it, but they're doing it so that they just, I think, so
Causes
it
friction between
automatically
which means
rotates
we're trying-
Yeah,
vehicles out, equipment out. It's not a question, are we going to?
Zero
It's just
patience
on a
for
plan.
Well, most of them, a lot of them do that way.
Yeah.
I mean, like we had thought, I mean, that backhoe, I mean, they don't use it a lot, but that's getting,
Right, either you schedule some money in to rebuild it, or you get a different one.
So in the town plan, it said that this is our year to create a capital plan.
Yeah.
So that we have that in front of us, a map forward. Usually they're 5 years, but we
That
can
should go
make
in a
them
letter.
smaller.
I mean, if that's on our agenda.
It's in the report, the town report.
It says we're gonna put together a
Town plan.
capital plan
The
this year.
town plan that was provided by the Northwest Regional Planning Commission said that this is the year that you need to put
Yeah,
together.
what else did we sign up for?
That's about it. That's it for this year.
Well, that's not insignificant.
No. But how that looks in each town is different, and
Right.
how
How
you
much
weigh.
effort they put into it, how much
Yeah.
they actually use it once they put it in place.
Yeah, and how you weigh priorities can be different.
Yeah, if you finish that, can you share it with us?
yeah,
And then we'll do
yeah.
make it as easy as possible for you.
So, do you want to stop? I mean, you don't get email, correct? So should we, for this piece of it, it sounds like you want to do a drafted process by email.
Well,
I can mail it to you.
You wanna
The
mail?
process for what now?
This letter
Looking
from
at
the
the
select
letter
board.
in
Oh, I-
advance of the meeting.
You can just stop in here and take a look at it.
Yep,
All right.
and
I'll
Tom, you
email
could
it.
also
That's
stop in and look
even
at
better.
this.
More better.
More better.
anything else?
so you're gonna email and have it here, or you're gonna do just one?
I'll email it to everyone who has email, and
That makes sense.
I'd be happy to mail it if you don't want to stop in here.
Anything else?
Your wife's gonna email,
Mm-hmm.
send it to her.
Yeah, send it to her. She said they can send it, but I'm not bothered with you, so it's okay. Doesn't bother me.
I have your address.
Yeah. Save a stamp. I can just stop.
I know where you live.
you can just give me a call and I'll stop, pick a copy up or something.
Okay.
I go out a couple times a day, or a week rather than a day.
I have a folder for both of you in my drawer, if there's anything.
Okay. Anything
So,
else?
if there's anything else, I'll make a motion with adjourn.
Second.
I think you're too late to the draw, Dave.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Is there a second?
You want me to
Second.
there after, I wanna see that thing.
I'm gonna go over there. It'll set the alarm off.
See you.